My aim today is for trifecta to be your new favorite word. 79 views have been made of Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk. He starts off telling the story of a teacher talking to a child. What are you drawing a picture of? She says, I'm drawing a picture of God. Well, nobody knows what God looks like. They will when I'm done. He starts that presentation to tell us why we can improve education with creativity. But at the same time, another group of people, United States Senate votes 87-10 to do the opposite, to improve education with test scores. So we have a dilemma. By the way, I learned as a former school district superintendent that those letters NCLB, they actually stand for never call lawyers back. It's a tug of war between accountability and creativity, and it seems like it never is going to end, but we can end it now. We can do it. Kids can do remarkable things when we give them remarkable things to do. But when we don't give them remarkable things to do, there's no telling what they will do. Many of you can relate to this both as a child and what you did, and as a parent and what you go, oh no, right? You can relate to that. A child wrote, this is a rainbow that didn't know how to make a bend. We could say that's a picture of education. Thousands of ideas of how to make it better. And what are we going to do with all of these things? What are we going to do with that? We have to take them and put them into some kind of a way we can get a handle on it. And trifecta is the answer. It's 3 items. The 3 items are mastery, wonder, and resilience. Now, they're not in the right order yet. Because a trifecta is 2 things. You have to know the 3, you have to get them in the right order. And Miller, who's not yet 2, is going to tell us the order. It's coming before the 10 minutes are up. Dr. Deming, one of the most beloved people of the last century, taught us that in Japan, when things go wrong, they ask why until they find out why. United States, we ask why until we find a who. We're not going to go down the who path today. Dr. Deming also taught us that there are who problems, and then there are common problems, and the common problems are about 96% of our problems. And the debate between accountability and creativity is a common problem. It's not a who problem. It shouldn't be accountability or creativity. It should be accountability, what? And creativity. We're going to make it. And when we do, it'll be remarkable. In the book Reset, Dan Heath gives us some help in this journey that we need to go on. He said when things aren't going well in any organization, dentistry could be one of them. When things aren't going well, we have to find the constraint. What is it that's holding us back? What is that? And I'm going to share with you what's held education back in the United States for at least 50 years. You know this well because you grew up with it. And here's the constraint. Chapter by chapter teaching method. Can you take your index finger and put it on the side of your nose? That's sign language for boring. Chapter 1 quiz. Chapter 2 quiz. Chapter 3 quiz. And it starts at age 6 and it goes on until you're a senior in high school. Boring. Okay. We're going to take that method and we're going to flush it. You with me on that? We're going to flush it. All the chapter by chapter method is good for is turning the wanderlust that children bring to kindergarten and turning it into wonder lost. That's what it's good for. The fundamental error that's made in education is we call the textbook the curriculum. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The textbook is not the curriculum. So what is the curriculum? It's the table of contents. What we want the kids to know by the end of the course. That is the curriculum. And once we know that, and know that the rest of the book is a teaching method, and we don't have to use that method, but we do have a curriculum. And once we know that, we're freed up. Here's a kindergartner and first grader showing that, we can have a great deal of creativity in our classrooms. Now let's take the trifecta. I'm going to start putting it in order. The first part of the order is wonder. We are curious. We're anticipating. We're wonder what it's going to be like when I finish my story. We are wondering when we have a centimeter ruler and we're measuring the beard dragon beard. How long is it? We also wonder, I wonder how many centimeters the teacher's waist. We have resilience. This is at middle school, and the kids wrote an ABC book of ancient Egypt. One kid the A page, another kid the B, another kid the C. You see, when we have wonder, resilience follows naturally. And here's a high school. We've done that all where we wrote a report about a famous author. What if we made a puppet of that author also? All of a sudden, all the kids want to learn about each other's study of what they did. Have you ever asked in high school to read another kid's report? No. But the puppets, then they want to know. The wonder and resilience, that's where it starts. Those are the first two things in your trifecta. But then there's the mastery. Now, how are we going to measure that? We're going to call it a learning journey. Let's suppose that you're in Phoenix. Actually, I think we all are. Okay. Let's suppose you're in Phoenix, and by the end of the year, you want to be in Dallas. I have no clue whatsoever why you'd want to do that. But let's just suppose you did want to be there by the end of the year. Now, we're on a learning journey. So we know that by the end of the first quarter, you need to be at the Arizona-New Mexico border. We know that by semester, you need to be pretty far away across New Mexico. Third quarter, you need to be in West Texas. And by the end of the year, you need to be in Dallas. That's the mastery part, the journey along the way. So how do we do that? We give the kids the table of contents the first week of school. Here's what we're going to learn. This is a partial list. You can expand it, but this is what we're going to learn. That's where you start, so you can have all three. You can have a trifecta when you give the kids, here's what we're going to learn. Then you're free to do whatever you want to do with it. But we need to know if they're learning it. So a principal in Saskatchewan bought eyeballs, for plastic ones, of course, okay, and then numbered them all, numbered 1 to 100, and put them in a bag. And every week, and the reason he chose 100, by the way, is because there were 100 things on the table of contents, okay? So every week, 10 of them were chosen at random, and they had a quiz on those 10. Not great. Are they supposed to know them? Well, no. What they are supposed to know is by the end of the first quarter, they know a quarter of them. By semester, they know half of them. It's a journey along the year. And then you see the kids can track how they're doing. They know how they're doing. They all know on the journey where they're going. When they do better than ever before, they hit the gong. This is a class that they have a kerplunk, and they pull one of the straws out when they do better than ever before. And then when the marbles crash, they do something fun. But I tell you, this is the chart that makes my heart just sing, because it's the whole class all together. You see, in athletics, when the team wins, the coach and the students and the athletes celebrate together. In the classrooms, they're all celebrating together, because that's the whole year. Every one of those is a quiz and a week. When they do better than ever before, they celebrate. Remarkable is up to the adults. It's not up to the kids. And so wonder is the spark. I'm talking to a group of people that already knew the trifecta when you walked in. That's why you're here, because you have in your head a wonder about things. And then you had the resilience to work hard in order to be here today. And what was the result? What you're sharing with us. You're so talented people, a room full of right here together, the trifecta, wonder, resilience, and mastery. That is the correct order. And when we do that, remarkable is our life.